For just a moment, could you try to imagine being that woman, caught in the act, thrown in front of the angry crowd, seeing this from her perspective? I'll try for a moment. There's no place to run. I'm surrounded. This can't be happening. Please, God, I'm so scared. I'm sorry. I am ashamed. God, please, I can hardly make myself breathe. The air is like thick with their disgust. They don't know my story. They don't know me. They don't care to. And God, I see the rocks in their hands. I brace myself. I don't know from which direction the first stone will come. And then I see this other man. And he steps between me and them. And then this happens. For just a moment, our eyes meet. He sees me. He sees me. And I tell you, he really saw me like no one ever did. And I hear him say something to the crowd, and I lower my eyes. I don't know what he said, but I could feel them starting to leave. And when I look up again, he was still there. And he looks at me again, and again, he sees me, all of me. And I don't know how to describe it, I don't. But in his eyes, I knew that he knew me, and that I mattered to him. His eyes said that deep down, I was good, and I will never be the same. Do you identify at all with that woman in any way? Is there any part of you which feels broken, that is ashamed of some part of you, that wonders if you are lovable, if you are enough, if you're more than your worst sin? If you don't struggle with that, I assure you that there are plenty of people around you who do. Now, let's try to imagine the story, but from a different perspective. This time from the perspective of the angry religious leaders and the crowd of onlookers that had gathered around this woman. I'll try for a moment. Because it's true, isn't it? There's just so darn much that is wrong with this world. And unless we stop it, who's going to? I mean, enough is enough. This woman sleeps with someone else's husband. What kind of example is that for our children? Thank goodness we're not like that, guys, right? I mean, really, if we don't take a stand, well, who's going to? As an aside, I mean, honestly, there's a part of me that never really wanted to throw the stone. I mostly wanted to scare her, make her see that that's not right, and that we want her to be warned, right? We don't think she's okay as she is. But then this other man, he steps between her and me, and he looks at her. I mean, it was like he really saw her. And then for a second, I looked at her too, and I saw her. And I saw she was a person who was afraid. You know, it was easier when I didn't see that, when I just thought she was just everything that was wrong with the world. But once I looked at her, she was a human being too. And then this man turns and looks right at me. And for a second, our eyes meet, and he sees me. And I feel that rock in my hand, and I know that this is not me. I can't do this. It's not who I really am. Can you identify with this guy in any way? Is there any part of you that feels like it's your job to take a stand against those people, whoever they are, to rid the world of what is wrong? Truth be told, we're all tempted sometimes to have that rock in our hands that we are ready to fire at someone. I mean, it actually feels kind of good, doesn't it? You know, have a group with an enemy out there to be mad at those we hate. Let's look at this vantage point. I mean, that's a story from one final vantage point. From this one, right here, right now, because this story is real in each of us. Whether we are aware of it or not, there's a little bit of both of these characters in us. There is. There is that part of us which carries those rocks of anger and resentment, ready to get rid of the evil out there, not realizing the harm that it does to the world, to our families, and to ourselves. And there's a bit of that woman in us that deep down is afraid sometimes that we're not good enough, are wanted, are seen, are safe. And what if we just admitted that? I mean, what if we just admitted that each of us sometimes messes up and sometimes is messed up, and that it's okay? We are more than our worst moments too, and God sees that. Me, I have this blessed vantage point. 41 years of priesthood, I've been blessed to see and work and cry and laugh and pray with so many good people. And now with you. Sadly, I will never have the time to be able to know each of you as much as I would wish I could. But if I did, I know I would really like who you are deep down. I believe in you. I do. I mean, sometimes I see your imperfection and sin as you would, I'm sure, mine sometimes, right? But I know that those moments do not define you. I know that you are more than that. I have seen your deep down goodness, and I know that God put some of God inside of you. you. And I believe that no matter how you've ever sinned, you have within you right now the power of great good. And no matter how you've ever been shamed, you have right now a great dignity. And no matter how much you have ever been wounded, you have great love and can offer great love. And if I've not done a good enough job of helping you see that in my eyes or hear that in my words, I am sorry. Please don't let me get in the way. Instead, I invite you to find a way this day, maybe even at this very Mass, to look as deeply as you can into the eyes of God, who looks right at you, who sees you, who sees you. And listen, as without words, God's eyes say, you are good. And you matter to me. You are wanted. You are enough. You are loved just as you are.